Today is January 11th, so that's 1/1/2019.
1/1/1/1.
Well, you leave out the 20, you get another 1.
Yeah. Not quite as exciting as 1/11/2011, but I mean, we're getting there.
It's an all odd day.
It is. Now, on to stories. It's kind of a weak intro, but let's just move past it.
Robots.
Yeah.
So many robots.
We'll start with robots, and the robot revolution has angered many. Neo-Luddites, I guess we could call them. And they're taking out their anger on the poor little Waymo cars.
God help us if they form a political party. Humans harass and attack self-driving Waymo cars.
This is so bizarre.
This is in Arizona. Come on, people. This is how we get Skynet. You know, one of these is going to get struck by lightning, and then it's going to have its tires knifed, and all of a sudden we've got Skynet.
That'd be interesting.
And there's going to be, like, the guy who puts new tires on it is going to be the one that they spare.
Yeah.
And he has to try to, like, ride around in it and convince it to stop the killing. But the government's going to blame him.
Yeah.
So it's him
Oh, man.
and the car against the world.
See, that...
And
That's a Knight
you
Rider
got more?
reboot for the 21st century.
Well, I don't want to spoil it all, but by the end, the car destroys itself, saving him. Because he redeems it.
There was a Jeep that ran a Waymo car off the road 7 times.
So,
What is wrong with people in Arizona?
I imagine they got really frustrated because they ran it off the road and they were like, "Yeah, suck on that Waymo." But it's just a robot
just
that doesn't care.
readapted, yeah.
It's like, okay, I'll get back on the road now. And it's like, no.
I would love to see like a sped up version of that to Yakety Sax, where like just keeps pushing it off the road.
You mentioned slash tires, thrown rocks, and
Yeah.
just kicking and beating in general. People do not like these robot cars.
So what you're saying is that it really is going to be like Leslie Nielsen's movie where they have the automatic pilot. Like these self-driving cars are going to have like an inflatable driver that inflate into the driver's seat so people don't know they're driverless.
Well, they did. So
I think people would be able to tell.
it turns out the LiDAR is what gives them away because they got the big box mount on the top. But I'm not sure that having a driver spares them because Waymo has instituted a hands-free emergency call system. So if you're a safety driver and you feel threatened, hands-free, I don't know exactly how it works, maybe a pedal or something, you can get in touch with Waymo immediately and let them know that it's going down.
It's going to be like Star Trek. It's going to be like computer execute program Waymo Omega 3, and then it's like
I like to imagine they're just singing a jingle.
It's going to
Contact Waymo.
be, it's execute code password 123. Well, speaking of passwords, some people, and the worst people, will share passwords on streaming services.
I don't know who would do such a thing. It would definitely never be me.
People who are not in the same household, even if they're going to be, doesn't make it okay.
Variety says that video services are may soon use artificial intelligence to crack down on password sharing.
This sucks for people who do this.
So, of course,
Not that anyone here does, but if they did, it would suck.
they already know about the IP address, of course. But it's going to be more than that. So the artificial intelligence part is they're actually going to look at what you're watching and the times that you're watching and try to build a pattern and say, wait a minute, I think this is more than one person.
It's going to screw over some people I know because one account that I know of watches like survivalist shows and cooking shows, but then someone that shares the account watches like Korean soap operas. And so there's a little bit of a disconnect there.
There's an
May
emphasis
flag that system.
for this kind of thing. I mean, even sharing the account, whatever, but building the profile on the individual will be more important from a monetization standpoint because the more complete their psychological profile on you, the more they can not waste time advertising things like Star Trek Discovery to you and instead advertise other things you actually care about.
Oh, you pretend, but you
watch
watch Star
it.
Trek Discovery.
You watch it just for the hate.
Only the algorithm knows for sure.
So, yeah, this is... now, one thing about this is they're saying they're not necessarily going to turn you off. Of course, this is a separate company. It'll be up to, like, Netflix, for example, not this company. But what they recommend is they just harass you a little bit and be like, hey, did you know that you can buy a plan that lets more than one person watch? We have that.
Pass.
It's like it's threatening. Yeah, but then
Like all those ad blocker windows that pop up. It's like, you don't really want to do this, right? Dismiss.
Our next story is going to kick America's obesity problem into high gear.
Well, these are healthy snacks.
these are healthy,
I mean,
like baked Lays.
But the company that it's from, really, I mean, it might as well be. It's like healthy snacks from this thing. It might be like net neutrality laws from a Jeep pie.
but imagine back to your college days, and you're in the middle of one of those long, a Tuesday, Thursday class. You got that extra 15, 20 minutes, and you're just dying for a bag of baked Lays. What could you do? In our day, you couldn't do anything, but now is the future.
PepsiCo's Hello Goodness Snackbot is a cure-all for college campus munchies. Now, make no mistake, Pepsi has already thought this through. They were like, we're going to load this thing down with sugary snacks and all kinds of stuff, and then wait, it's like, oh, wait, people are going to freak out about that. They're going to say things like America's obesity epidemic is about to get into high gear. So they've got healthy snacks like fruits and nuts and stuff in these.
No, it's like it's like sun chips. And
It's still chips.
baked Lays and
Now,
soda water. And
let's do a level 1 prediction. And I don't know how easy this will be to follow up on. How long before Doritos and Mountain Dew are in these things?
Condoms.
College
campus?
That might actually be a
Doritos,
good
Mountain
thing.
Dew, and condoms. Because those are often bought in contest, aren't they? Yeah, that's.
I think
It's like, dear Pepsi bot, I'm in a fix. I need, I need a box of condoms outside, like, now.
but it takes forever because it's so small.
it's an
Put the
awkward
picture back
15
up.
minutes. It's just, any minute now.
And so I was looking at that little robot, and like I went to school in the frigid north, and like in the winter, there's no way that thing would be getting over the snow.
It was
No
San
way.
Francisco.
Yeah.
So, yeah, this is the
The ideal conditions for
perfect
such a
place
robot.
for it.
Yeah,
Maybe they'll have a little off-road version.
it has like all terrain tires. Has to climb
They
over
did
the
mention
snow,
it's
the ice.
it's all-wheel drive.
It's like 24 miles of range in that thing, too.
And a college campus, how many square miles there, you think?
Typically not a lot.
So, yeah, you can probably make a couple deliveries. And they have more than one, so they'll just recharge. And I
What a
think
time to be alive.
they probably will get robbed, though.
Yeah. Well,
Although, would you want to risk a robbery for some chips?
yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
oh, absolutely, they would for a party.
well, they could have cameras and stuff on them, too. So
They definitely do.
They track you down.
Well, you could get it from behind.
Just
Speaking-
smash it, tip it over.
Speaking of cameras, one of the big problems that we have, well, I say we, Africa has, is poaching.
I'll end here too, but
And it's tough to keep an eye on that because there's so much area. So what do? Well, there's a new approach that is amazing to me because of the battery life.
An AI-equipped camera system will help spot wildlife poachers before they can kill. Scroll down so they can see the...
Look at that thing.
it's so small.
tiny. It's so
It's-
tiny.
It's like a slap bracelet.
They say a year and a half. Maybe there's like a big ass battery that goes between these two
Oh, probably.
connectors.
Yeah.
But
They can hide them in the trees and stuff, and
So-
it doesn't do anything.
yeah, instead of course, they have motion sensors already for this kind of thing. But like the wind blows, and a fern flies in front of it, and it's like, oh, have 27 pictures, and the rangers didn't like that, so now it's using Google's image recognition, and as you can see,
It's like, oh, I'm seeing an elephant. You're supposed to see an elephant. That's not
Yeah.
of interest. It's like, you're seeing a truck. You're not supposed to see a truck. Call the rangers.
so now the big business will be truck mods to
We need
make
to-
them look like elephants.
We need to close the loop on this technology. We need an army of drones that are deployed when the truck is detected. So, like, just the poachers just swarmed with lethal
We're-
drones.
Well, the poachers would just shoot down the drones.
We're one
Take
step
them on.
closer
You send
to
us-
Jurassic Park.
You send a swarm. So it's like, okay, you shot
like-
down 5 or 6, but there's 20 more on
They
the
get
way.
one of those microwave guns.
This is what they did in Jurassic Park. Like, but the thing was is that they were always counting for the exact number of dinosaurs, not potentially more dinosaurs.
It would be good if we always knew the exact number of dinosaurs in Africa.
Yeah, we're elephants. That's how you protect against how many elephants are on the.
Well, I can tell you the exact number of robotic bullet trains that exist in China.
Well,
And that's...
it's a good thing you qualified with that within China.
Yeah,
The Independent has the article, China to launch self-driving bullet trains that will travel at 350 kilometers per hour. These are unmanned. They've already been testing it unmanned. And apparently the robot AI software, whatever, is good enough to maintain an exact, precise schedule by adjusting the speed of the train up or down to maintain schedule when it leaves the station to arrive at precisely the time it needs to.
They made a statement that somehow this wasn't going to cost jobs this year.
This year, yeah, 2020, lots of jobs gone.
Not to be outdone, the Aussies have their own version.
Well, technically, China's trying to outdo them, right?
Yeah, I think this one came first, but it doesn't have passengers.
This is the Australian autonomous train is being called the world's largest robot because it's basically an automated rail system. This is for cargo and stuff like that, I think.
Mining.
Yeah.
So they have these mining operations that are on these really remote parts of Australia, and they built this giant train track to bring things back and forth.
The really low part of the map to get the redstone and the diamonds. Deep level.
What was that game that was based in Australia where you stole the oranges?
Oh, Hurt World.
Yeah.
Hurt World. Yeah.
They should add a Steam workshop for that. Okay.
It was a survival game. Like every now and your character, like there was no like meter. Your character would just whisper, "I need to eat."
Well, now you've got a car that will do it.
And this will be super useful in Hurt World because sometimes you are
because there are no
starving,
vehicles in Hurt World.
and you can just open up your app and get whatever you want.
Yeah, DoorDash and GM's cruise team. I'm giving the headline is terrible. DoorDash and GM's cruise team up to pilot food delivery via self-driving cars. So self-driving cars, you want some fast food place doesn't deliver. That's cool, we got that. Because Uber Eats is a thing. This is just the automated version of that.
But how upsetting is it going to be when the Waymo cars aren't carrying anything? They're just testing. Well, what happens when the Neo-Luddites attack the car that's got your Taco Bell in it?
See, I wasn't thinking that's where you were going with that. I was thinking like picture the scene. It's a crowded Wendy's drive-through. You're working the drive-through. You got the speaker. The next car comes through, and they're ordering, and it sounds a lot like Siri. And it's like, wow, this person sounds a lot like Siri. And then they drive around, and it's just an empty car, and a little credit card comes out of a dispense slot, and it's like, okay, and it's like, please take the credit card, and it's Siri's voice, and you take the credit card and you run it, and then you put the credit card back, and then you just put the food in the driver's seat, and you're done.
There is no way you're going to physically give your credit card to it. That would be so much
overhead.
People would just steal it. Now, there's going to be, I suspect there'll be like 3 or 4 parking spaces that are flagged for
self-driving
DoorDash or whatever, and these guys will pull up and then they'll bring it out.
McDonald's is already doing that. You can remote order. I mean, you yourself will still have to go pick it up, but like if you had this system around.
But do you drive through the drive-through or do you just go to a special spot?
There's a spot.
Yeah, see.
And they're marked.
I bet they'll prioritize that too. Like
Probably.
The plebs that are sitting in the drive-through line will have to wait for them to make the order for the.
What a time to be alive.
There'll be a little bit of a premium.
Speaking of people that are going to have a hard time, let's talk art forgers.
I thought Krista would be excited about this story, but she just crapped all over
I question how well it works. Now, this said, 80% accuracy rate?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so this AI can spot art forgeries by looking at one brushstroke.
My thing is, so like when you'd obviously need like the original work to look at, but like how you photograph the work or like how you scan it and like just light conditions, all kinds of things can change like minor aspects of how it looks. Like if you look up any famous painting, if you look it up in Google Images, there's going to be a lot of variations in the color because different photographers will get different things.
Well, I think this is one of those situations where they take like the bot itself takes a ton of pictures and it uses one of those algorithms where it's like looking at each picture and comparing it and throwing some away because of what you're talking about.
Yeah.
So it comes down to a very good approximation of what it is under different conditions.
I don't think it'll be perfect. I think you'll still need like an art historian to look at it to verify. But
I don't think it's supposed to be the final word. But in a lot of the cases, it immediately found the problem. And here's the cool thing about it: they built it so a lot of these AI systems, we talked about, are especially the learning AIs, are black boxes. We know that they're learning, but we don't understand what's going on.
We don't know how they're learning.
But this one is built to be very, like give a lot of feedback. It's like, this is why I think this is fake.
Yeah.
And it tells the people.
So art forgers are going to get real good. It's like we need to make a movie that's like the art forger and like the AI scientists, and they make all kinds of money because their AI is helping the forgery be better.
It's got to be like deep fakes, right?
Yeah.
Where they have to start using AI to forge art.
Yeah. Or at least to contribute.
So, but is that bad for the world? If you could get a perfect stroke for stroke Van Gogh, wouldn't that be cool?
What if we can get some industrial robots, like use the AI to train the control of the industrial robot. So the industrial robot is exactly mimicking. Wouldn't it be cool to see how like one of the master painters actually painted a work, even if it is in robotics?
I mean, they kind of do. They can. I mean, it's not perfect, but you can kind of tell that already.
That would be
how they like they do like X-rays and stuff of it to see the underpainting and like how they thumbnailed it. Like they'll look at the sketchbooks.
Somebody needs to get the Disney animatronics guys on the phone, because that could be a destination vacation. It's like, let's go and
Well, let's not get the Hall of Presidents guys. Have you seen Trump?
He looks just like Hillary. I don't understand how that could have happened.
I think that's a great idea, and it's going to be amazing when the bottom falls out of the art industry.
That would actually, man, I could get that chicken riding a lizard from there's a chicken riding a lizard at the gallery down the street, and I want it. It's made with a special gourd.
Well, listen, the time's running out.
I know, I got to get it. The art gallery's going out, so.
Well, the AI, they find forgeries, but sometimes they do more important work. And we've talked, how many different medical things have they figured out at this point? It's like 7 or 8.
Yeah.
So add one more to the list. It's brain hemorrhages.
The Massachusetts General's AI can spot brain hemorrhages as accurately as humans. So, nice. This is going to be great for insurance companies.
Krista, you mentioned that along with raptors, brain hemorrhage is one of your big fears.
Yeah, like, or aneurysms where it's like you have that ticking time bomb in your head and you don't know about it and then all of a sudden you're dead.
But see, I think that's kind of
It's not a big fear, but it's something I think about.
That doesn't scare me at all because I'm not afraid of death. I'm afraid of dying. And if it's just like
instant in your sleep, yeah. Easy.
That sounds like, hey, worse things have happened, right? And one of those things are drone disruptions. Remember Gatwick Airport?
Poor Britain. They
just
can't catch a
last
break.
week. And that was a big story. I imagine it was a much bigger story over there than it was here.
Yeah.
So it's hard to imagine that this guy couldn't have seen that and maybe thought about his actions.
It's like the Severn Bridge shuts down as drone flown from tower. So they got the guy who was somewhere he wasn't supposed to be on the bridge, and he flew a drone from the bridge. So they shut down traffic. And, you read this story and you really think it's like, wow, that guy's just an idiot. And it reads like the guy was thinking, oh, man, I saw the thing at the Gatwick Airport. I got this drone. They're going to outlaw using drones around this kind of thing. I'd better go get some footage off the drone before they really outlaw it. It's like, guy, you're too late.
There's gonna be a clickbait thumbnail with that guy in it with an emoji, and it's like, I got arrested for flying a drone.
Top 5 reasons you shouldn't fly a drone from a bridge.
Story time. I got arrested for flying a drone.
But you say there was a part of the bridge he shouldn't have been on. It was the highest point.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure even without the drone, if a human is standing at the highest point of a bridge,
You're thinking that's a suicide risk.
They always shut it down.
Yeah.
So,
Oops.
Not a smart move. I don't know what that crime would be. I think it was like
Public nuisance.
Yeah. So that's probably a misdemeanor, right?
Yeah.
Or whatever
that's not
UK
terrible.
equivalent.
Like whenever they catch whoever did that at the Gatwick Airport, which would be funny if it was actually law enforcement, they'll probably string them up by their toenails.
Or just black side them, just disappear them. Well, we never did find those guys. Well, another problem in the UK is the police use of social media.
Apparently, yeah.
Police have criticized. Police
were criticized.
Yeah, for asking public to choose which village to patrol via Twitter. It's like I read that headline and it just.
There's been some. That one's not bad, but there have been some weird ones this week.
It was a great bed one. They won, so that meant that they got patrol that afternoon. And
if you're gonna rob a house in what was it, Wharton? Yeah,
that's
that would
the
be
place
a good
to
day.
be. Yeah.
What's that? Some Aldburn. That's some terrible names. But yeah, they pretty much broadcast where the police presence would be, and people were quick to tell them what a bad idea that was, and they seemed to be very wounded by that.
Oh,
They're like, don't make fun of us.
We were just trying to be more engaging with the public. It's
just wanted to engage with the community. Now,
like the kids.
One saying that you hear a lot, and it's certainly true, is that when seconds count, police are minutes away.
It's a common phrase around here.
But in this situation, more than a few minutes.
An astronaut sparks panic after accidentally dialing 911 from space, sending NASA into a frenzy. So the calls from the International Space Station are patched in through a control room. So the police thought that the 911 had been dialed from the control room, like NASA was put on full alert. The astronaut didn't even know anything really had happened until the next day when he got an email that was like, "Did you accidentally dial 911?" And he's like, "Oh, I might have."
Well,
Astronaut,
when you
smart
think
man.
about it, the system is. Someone could have maybe seen this flaw coming up. You dial 9 to get outside line, meaning Earth in this situation, which is pretty common for a phone system, and 011
For an international call.
for a call, and so he just missed the 0.
Oops.
How dare he make a mistake?
911 from the space station. It's like, "Oh, don't worry, officers are en route to your location." It's like, "I don't think so." And like, you're calling Elon Musk to get somebody up here.
Well, if you didn't notice, we've moved on to the nonsense section, and this story is
It sounds worse than it is when you just read the headline.
well, is it?
Saudi women to get divorce confirmation by text message. This is an improvement over their current situation where they
Yes.
could be divorced and not even know it. They only recently learned to drive. They only recently are permitted to drive. And every time we talk about Saudi Arabia, I have to point out Queen Elizabeth. She trolled King Abdullah by driving him around. And
Like
then,
a crazy person purposely driving bad. Like,
and then after that, women get the right to vote in Saudi Arabia, or vote to drive in Saudi Arabia. So I mean,
well, this is so what men would typically do. So like they would be married, and then they would decide, I want out. But instead of saying anything to their wives, they would just up and disappear one day. And the court systems were like, okay, you can't do that. So now whenever you file a divorce proceeding,
Well, you can still do it.
The wife gets text.
well, she can request alimony that way.
Yeah. Well, in a society like that, you kind of have to because they can't do anything. They can't. What was it? They can't start a business.
The
They
list
can't.
of things
Yeah.
Okay, you need a husband, father,
Or brother.
or brother, or some other kind of male guardian. I don't know how that works. To get a passport, travel abroad, get married, open a bank account, start certain businesses, get elective surgery, or leave prison.
So it's one of those things like, I kind of understand why they have alimony in that society because how are you supposed to survive
I'm
otherwise?
surprised that they do, though.
I wonder if there's anybody that is still in prison because they got like a jaywalking ticket or something and nobody's just come to pick
There
them
was
up.
no male guardian to pick
gotta-
them up.
You gotta write letters asking just random men, so please come and be
Please.
my guardian.
That's terrible.
That's
awful.
that's a weird one, and it's also weird to think about. So we are allies with them, and we are very protective of people who talk bad about them, and they very briefly headed up the UN Human Rights Council. Think about that.
Well, human being men.
Oh, yeah.
Women.
I
Easy.
feel like Ron Howard should be narrating that.
They were a
Well,
leader in human rights. They really weren't.
In this country, for better or for worse, we do give women rights. But we may also give some more rights to our furry friends.
New Jersey lawmakers may consider giving animals attorneys in court. This is after a really egregious case of a guy abusing a dog, and so they're like, maybe we should appoint public defenders for animals to argue that people that have abused animals should face harsher sentences.
They always joke that like the public defenders are the C student lawyers, like they're the worst. But imagine it's like you're picking up a girl in a bar and she's like, "Oh, what do you do for a living?" "I'm a lawyer." Like, "Oh, do you work at a major law firm?" "No, I defend animals."
Bird law. You're doing bird law.
Defend animals as a public defender.
Some people would probably like that. That'd probably actually be a good pickup line.
Well, yeah, I guess for
like,
like,
oh, you
like
defend animals?
hippie girls,
Yeah.
that would be huge. But she's like probably a PETA crazy. You don't want to.
No,
you don't
maybe
want to get involved in that. Not even for one night. Well, Wendell, you've intimated that you've hit saturation with your distaste for Fallout 76.
I tried, and it's
You
just
tried so hard. You
I
put a
really
lot of
did.
hours in.
Not a lot, but
lot.
kind of.
I feel like you probably gave it more of a chance than most people did.
I really did.
And it's a good indication of how quickly they're losing their player base, which might explain this weird policy.
Fallout 76 cheaters can get back into the game by writing a heartfelt essay for Bethesda.
About why
So-
cheating is wrong.
Yeah, so if you get caught cheating and you get banned, you can write an essay and they'll maybe let you start playing again. The online stuff with it it doesn't add anything, and if anything, it just makes the game more tedious.
Yeah. And What do you think? I mean, there's got to be a huge recidivism rate there, though, right?
Yeah.
You're
Well,
going to cheat again.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It seems likely.
Well, if you get caught and all they do is give you a slap on the wrist, absolutely, you're going to cheat again.
I mean, they don't even have really good inventory management stuff. Because, like, you can sort your inventory by weight, but you don't really know how much something weighs because you might have, like, 100 of something. And so it's hard to know what's taking it because you have a limited amount of space. And so it's really hard to know, like, what you need to keep, what you need to throw away. And like what crafting items are rare. Like, you get kind of an idea of what crafting items are rare and which ones are not rare. But it's just like I didn't sign up for that. I just want to explore the wasteland and have some stories and stuff. I don't want to be micromanaging my inventory for
That's the game.
3 hours.
Micromanagement simulator.
It really is terrible.
Well, for this next story, I'm reminded of the great Frank Reynolds from Always Sunny in Philadelphia, who said, "When I die, just throw me in the trash." And I kind of feel
What
like
a legend.
Yeah.
I don't really care. A lot of people are hung up on I think, in most cases, though, it's not the dead person who cared. It's the family of the dead person. But it does seem like it's kind of unsustainable to keep burying people in these caskets that seal them away and keep them preserved for, 50 years. Or
Long
whatever.
after anyone cares.
And cremation seems like a good alternative, but they're also, it puts the greenhouse gases or carbon dioxide or whatever. So what's the plan? Well, the hippies in Washington have got a solution, or so they claim.
Composting. Yeah. So look at that, NBC News. Washington could become the first state to legalize human composting. They can grow a tree on you. It turns out that it's actually kind of tricky to turn humans into fertilizer
because
safely.
you're full of icky, nasty stuff, and if you sprinkle it on your food garden, you may get the icky, nasty stuff in the living.
Look at this stock photo. Like, is that the best one?
Is that Aunt Edna?
Yeah, that's definitely not Aunt Edna. That's just a handful of peat or something.
So they claim that, yes, recomposition, which involves placing bodies in a vessel and hastening their decomposition into a nutrient-dense soil. So if you get cremated, they give your loved ones an urn with some of your ashes. They don't give you all the ashes. There's a dirty trick to that business. They sift out like the horrible bone shards and stuff.
Yeah.
Throw that away, and then they give you some nice ashes. Some of which is probably the box they put you in as well. But here, you get like a pallet of dirt, and that's grandma. And you can garden with her if you want to.
Plant a tree so she can watch over you, Fallout style. You remember that guy in Fallout that's like part tree, part human?
A tree or flowers. I still, even though they say that you could, I would feel uncomfortable putting this on like a vegetable garden.
Well,
it's like you just don't know.
Yeah, right. Even if it was perfectly safe, eating grandma as a tomato.
Something that had been grown in her body.
Distasteful.
Yeah.
There was I can't remember the name of the movie, but it was Method Man and Red Man. And if you grew weed using the ashes of someone who died and then smoked that weed, they could communicate with you from the afterlife.
That's a deep,
what an amazing
thought.
I'm starting to think that some of my premises for movies are not actually as dumb as I think.
And they used that. One of their friends was really smart, and he helped them cheat their way into Harvard.
Of course.
Yeah. So they would have to get high before every
I think I know what movie you're talking about. I don't know if I saw it, but I know what you're
I
talking
can't
about.
remember the name of the movie. It's actually pretty funny.
I'm sure the engagement challenge is going to be just, good Lord.
I think Zim was talking to me about that movie once, but I can't remember the name of it.
Well, are you ready? Is anybody ready
Can anybody really be ready?
for the Super Blood Wolf Moon?
What a cool band name, right?
USA Today has your guide. So if you're confused about the Super Blood Wolf Moon that's about to happen,
Descend upon us.
Yeah, here's your guide. So here's a guide for the Super Wolf Blood Moon. Something Native Americans. I don't know.
Well, it's a little underwhelming. Supermoon is the height of the apogee, meaning it's the biggest and brightest in the sky that it will be for that cycle. Blood moon, it's literally red because of a total eclipse. So total eclipse doesn't hide the moon, it just filters the light through the atmosphere, which takes out the blue. Wolf moon is just the first full moon of January. You know why? Because the wolves are hungry. It's the winter.
Winter is coming.
Dehibernating.
And they're howling at the gates. They want your children. And so, yeah, that's kind of things like January 19 or something like that. So if you're excited about that,
Probably would have been more appropriate to cover that in the January 19 episode of the news. But hey, you can prepare now.
Oh, you got
to give them time. You got to take some
You
time
got to
off
find
work.
someone to sacrifice. I mean, that's going to take at least a week. Have to order someone from Amazon.
Get some foster children.
Oh.
Well, I think it's been 3 weeks now, right, that we've covered the saga of Soulja Boy and his entry into the electronics market. And he has quite a boast this week.
Yeah, it's like his sales report, he says he sold 5 million consoles in December. Bad news, Nintendo owns SouljaGame.com.
So he made a tweet. Now, I don't claim to be a hip person, but I do not understand this phrase. I had to boss up. I didn't have a choice. Now, he's talking about dealing with Nintendo and giving in to them. What does boss up mean in that context?
In that context, yeah, it doesn't make sense. Boss up usually is used as like, kind of like saying man up, but like...
I had to own up to my mistake.
Yeah. Take responsibility.
Well, that makes a little bit of sense. Yeah, and then he put the little boy emoji.
Look, it's the I don't know.
Well, he's Soulja Boy.
Well, it's funny because his previous tweets that was like, hey, there might be something wrong with your intellectual property here. He was very angry and explicit and like a lot more like, no, you guys, like...
How dare you speak to me?
Yeah.
Do you know who I am?
I'm Soulja Boy.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, the hip new Netflix movie is Bird Box. People seem to really like it, despite it being bad, which is not uncommon in the movie world. That happens a lot.
It's a horror movie with Sandra Bullock.
But it's kicked off the latest quote-unquote challenge.
So in the movie, you have to wear a blindfold, I guess.
Because the monsters
Right,
will
if you
scare
look
you.
at the monsters, you will go crazy.
So Netflix warns against the Bird Box challenge as the dangerous trend goes viral. So you blindfold yourself and try to not fall down an escalator, I guess is what that stock photo was.
But you agree to a set amount of time. So for 24 hours, you're going to go Bird Box.
Yeah, see, I did this as like a middle schooler when I learned about Helen Keller. I came home, got off the bus. My mom wasn't home from work yet. And I didn't blindfold myself, but I closed my eyes and tried to navigate the house.
Did you stop up your ears?
No, I couldn't do that.
Well, that's a weak
It was a weak challenge, but I felt like I needed to understand Helen Keller better for my assignment.
I think you've just discovered the newest challenge, Krista. The Helen Keller challenge.
Yeah.
Now that's where you
go into a sensory deprivation tank.
Well, you
or she could still feel. That's how they learned to talk to her.
No.
Didn't you learn about Helen Keller in middle school?
You got to do hardcore mode with the Helen Keller challenge. First of all, you got to do something to explode your eardrums. Get a gun and just fire off next to your head
until you can't hear anymore.
And then get some of those like really hardcore pupil dilating eye drops and just go hard. And
you could just blindfold yourself.
Super glue eye drops probably work well.
Christy, you got to commit to this. You can take a blindfold off. But if you want to go full Helen Keller for a couple of weeks, then you'll do it this way.
I was just trying to do it before my mom got home from work so she wouldn't see how stupid I am.
Permanent hearing loss.
Those eardrums will grow back.
Well, then you'll get to learn the cool sign language she developed with her teacher.
Well, everybody loves bacon so much that it's a meme. I'm tired of the bacon meme, but it is delicious.
It is good.
And you can't fight against it. And the pre-cooked bacon is an amazing invention. Even though I know I can just taste the cancer. And it turns out
that is actual literal cancer.
It's nitrates. So stop adding cancer-causing chemicals to our bacon, experts tell the meat industry. But it turns out that nitrates weren't actually a part of pork products for like 25 years. It's a fairly recent thing.
Yeah, they claim it's important to kill certain bacteria in the curing, but other people are saying it just
botulism.
It's just the color.
Yeah, some people have said it's just the color. So.
I would eat whatever color bacon you give me.
Yeah.
I think it's probably like a gray.
It talks about how like a lot of prosciutto doesn't have this yet, and like prosciutto is some of the most delicious stuff on earth.
Well, the Parma ham.
Yeah.
Like there's a special ham that only comes from one place. It's like champagne.
And they don't use nitrates either, which is good.
And they literally make that stuff with mold.
It's so good.
So
I'm down.
I think maybe we should
embrace
it.
Some.
We should start a company called Gray Bacon. Gray matter bacon.
Cancer-free bacon.
And then find out it's
FDA might
cancerous
have a problem
some
with
other way.
Yeah.
This is
Speaking of cancer, let's talk about Twitch.
Krista is very sensitive to Twitch thoughts. Very sensitive. Do you think once you're married, you'll become even more prudish about
No.
Twitch? You gonna cut your hair short and
No.
complain to the manager?
No, I don't like short hair. I'll probably have like long hair even when I'm old and gray.
But one rung, or maybe several rungs under the Twitch thoughts, are the Twitch abusers.
Oh yeah.
I would say they're higher up in the terrible. Like the other ones, I understand
when
why
I
they
say
do it.
no, when I say lower, I mean like lower life form.
Lower life. Oh, okay, way lower life form.
A streamer who allegedly beat his wife during stream is back on Twitch. So,
I thought I saw this video, but it might have been someone else. I'm not sure.
I imagine this happens a lot. Actually.
Yeah.
So the story here is that this guy's a Fortnite streamer. I think he's fairly successful. I really don't know. But the wife was unhappy that he was spending so much time playing Fortnite. And she had just prepared a meal and wanted him to come to dinner. And then all this happened off camera, but you heard a loud crack, her crying, and then screaming, "Did all of you hear that? That was him hitting me." Yeah. So his case is still in the Australian courts awaiting trial. But after a ban, and 2 weeks later, he's back on Twitch.
That's just the way Twitch is. That makes me so angry. They have all these terms of service and like you can't do this and you can't do that. And they'll enforce that with little streamers. But it's like as soon as you get kind of big, they're like, oh no, you can go back.
What do you think we could get away with in our Twitch stream?
Probably almost nothing.
Literally nothing.
No.
Yeah,
They
we're
did-
not that popular.
A couple of tweets did point out that they've got the, like the speech rules. I don't think it's necessarily obscenities, but like, like if you say tranny, for example.
Well, he was like screaming at her. At least if it's the video I'm thinking.
No.
of.
They're talking about that was not what they got him for. But if you violate that speech rule, you're gone for at least 30 days.
wow.
Yeah.
But hitting your wife on stream,
Totally
2
A-okay.
weeks.
Yeah.
That's disconcerting.
Yeah. Very disconcerting.
Do you think this reduced or dramatically increased his view count?
Probably increased.
Probably increased because I didn't know who this guy was before I saw a clip of it on YouTube.
Which begs the question, how long until people are faking domestic abuse on Twitch?
God, that's so messed up. Jeez.
Well, we've come full circle with your whole, because like that's the whole thing with the thoughts is just,
Well, I like I
everything's
said,
fake.
the thoughts I understand. Like that makes sense. They're just monetizing a system that's in place. Like it supports that. I don't like it, but it's fine. I get what they're doing. But like this is just scummy. This is just shitty human beingness.
You know what? You just gave me an incredible idea. So if you're a Twitch thought, and you've got another hot friend, you should fake
Hitting your friend?
a fight. No, like, rolling around on the ground like cat fighting. But then, slowly, that goes into making out.
Of course. As it often does.
Your view count will skyrocket, I guarantee.
Do you get, I don't know, what are the terms like if you violate their no sexual stuff? Like do you think it's longer or shorter than what this guy got?
Shorter.
You think?
Yeah.
I don't know.
It should be shorter than what this guy got, but like it would be kind of hilarious.
There
if
have
it was
been a
more.
number of wardrobe malfunctions that were only like a day or two banned that resulted in
But-
like double viewership.
See, that's
Yeah.
the thing, though. How sexual? I mean, like, just nudity, I would think, probably not that big a deal.
Doesn't seem to be.
Yeah.
Well, it's another week in the books.
Woo!
Welcome to January.
January needs to go back. I'm not ready for December to be over yet.
I'm kind of ready for spring. I'm waiting for the snow to come, but like I'm kind of ready just for it to be warm again.
I
Give me
kind
the snow.
of like where we are now, which is oddly warm days.
Yeah, like spring.
But I don't have to face the specter of lawn care yet.
Oh yeah, he has a house now, so he has to deal with that. How much yard you got?
1.2
Something.
or something like that.
That's a pretty decent sized yard.
Yeah, gonna have to buy the zero turn.
Oh no.
It'll be fine. Someday we'll mod that zero turn to be robotic.
And then chop off someone's leg. It's fine.
Probably insurance for that.
We won't be voiding the warranty on that.